Hi, I'm Maggie and welcome to my channel. I am Korean living in Jeju Island trying to improve her English because it's getting bad and bad. It's been a hot minute. Let me explain even nobody asked. My laptop broke and I have to pay about $200 to fix it and I didn't have that money. Yeah, I don't have any security or stability or even sanity. The thing is I don't own a car. I have Honda Super Cup. That's only transportation that I own, and I commute with that. And that one also needed fixing, and I couldn't afford both at the same time. And since I commute with that Honda Super Cup, that's how I can get my money to go to the place that I work. And also, since it's transportation, is about safety as well. So my priority was to fix my bike first, then I had to wait until I get paid to fix the laptop. So here I am.
Anyway,
That's the update. Today, the video that I'm gonna film is gonna be a challenge because not only I have to speak English, but also I'm gonna review a book. The thing is, I'm not even good at reviewing book in my own mother language, which is Korean. So most of the time, I'm gonna just read the note that I written down. And why am I doing this even I'm not good at it? Because I want to try. And also, I just really want to give a shout out to this book. It doesn't need my shout out because it's doing really great. Well, I really like this book, so I just want to, share with some random people out there. The book that I'm going to talk about today is this one, Girl, Woman, Other by Bernadine Evaristo. Well. First of all, let me talk about what it's about. So it is about Black woman. Every chapter is about individual Black women. But as you read, you can see their lives intertwined. So they're interconnected in some way. So in each chapter, there's 3 people and they're related somehow. There might be family like mother and daughter, or there might be friends or something like that. But as you read chapter by chapter, you can see there's a distant connection thing. The most interesting thing that I can say about this book is you can see let's say 2 people. They're in similar situation or circumstances, but they ended up differently. So it's really interesting to see what was the difference. What did they do something differently? I thought that was really fascinating. And it talks about a lot of things. First of all, sexism, also racism, and it also dabbles in sexuality and something like that. So let me read my notes. So when it comes to racism, of course, since it's about Black women, it talks about Black people mostly, but not only that, it talks about Islamophobia, xenophobia, oppression, discrimination, like police brutality. And when it comes to sexism, it talks about DV, SA, gaslighting, patriarchy. And when it comes to sexuality, it talks about gender identity. And also, it talks about generational conflict and adultery, failed marriage, and failed school system. And also, commodification and trendification of movement. For instance, LGBTQ community and body positivity. I like to watch commentary channel on YouTube, and it talks about that thing a lot. So personally, I was kind of invested in that topic. So I was glad to see this book talk about it. So it talks about a lot of things, but it has a humor. So racism, sexism is all really heavy topic to talk about. But this writer does really great is there's a humor in it. But at first I was I thought I I was fucked because there are a lot of references that I didn't know, like Senzi, like languages, or just reference that I'm not familiar with, and I'm not the type of person that I'll look up dictionary every time because it's gonna hinder my reading flow. And I done that before. It didn't work for me. Like I get just really frustrated, and if it's not that quintessential for me to understand the story, even there's a word or whatever that I don't get, I just like move on and just read through. But this one this one particularly hurt, particularly a little bit more references that I didn't get. So I was like, this is not going well. And the most frustrating part at the beginning was there's no punctuation mark. I never saw a book that has no punctuation mark. So this one does have few of them, only few. Only end of each chapter there's one punctuation mark. And I read Sally Rooney's beautiful word, Where Are You? And Sally Rooney is known for not having quotation mark, and there are a lot of people say like they don't like that thing. But for me, when I read it, I didn't really have hard time grasping the storyline. But not having punctuation mark, oh my god. First of all, English is not my first language. And the thing is, like Korean and English, the grammar is different. Like the order of the grammar is different. For instance, in English it's like I ate apple, but in Korea is opposite. I apple ate. So for me as a Korean, I have to read in English, then translate that into Korean in my head, and there's like extra steps to get this through. So for me, not knowing when the sentence ends because there's no punctuation mark is really hard. Like
when is this the sentence is like finished?
It's really hard. So I was really frustrated, and then fortunately, as I read, it got a little bit better. Then later, like it didn't really bother me that much. So I'm really grateful that I kind of got used to not having punctuation mark. But well, it was a challenge. For sure, it was a big challenge. So if there is non-English speaker out there, just keep that in mind. Be prepared. Okay. Oh, and the other thing is, not only there is no punctuation mark, there's no capital. When it's the beginning of the sentence, like you use caps, right? But this one don't have, is everything is lowercase. That's why it's hard to know when it's a sentence is starting and finishing. On top of that, not having punctuation mark was a kind of a little bit of mind fuck, but I overcame, which is yay me. That's about it that I want to talk about. Before I end this video, I'm gonna read some quotes that I really liked. So here we go. When they leave uni, it's gonna be with a huge debt and crazy competition for jobs. Outrageous rental prices out there mean generation will have to move back home forever, which will lead to even more of them despairing at the future and what would the planet about to go to shit with the United Kingdom soon to be disunited from Europe, which itself is hurtling down the reactionary road and making fascism fashionable again. And it's so crazy that the disgusting permatanned billionaire has set a new intellectual and moral low by being president of America, and basically it all means that the older generation has ruined everything and her generation is doomed. It's unfortunate that she's coming of age as one of the swipe like chat invite to fuck generation where men expect you to give it up on the first and only date, have no pubic hair at all, and do the disgusting things they've seen women do in porn movies on the internet. Life was different before 9/11, Rory said, as they left the town behind and walked along a busy main road passing big old houses made of thick slabs of gray stone. She was too young to remember the before era when her mother said people looked at hijabbed women with surprise, curiosity, and pity. Then there was the after era when her mother said they began to be viewed with a blatant hostility that gets worse every time a jihadist blows white people up or mows them down in a truck. At times like these, Rory braces herself to get even more shoved, spat at, and called names such as dirty Arab when I'm not even Arab, yes. That terrorism is synonymous with Islam, that she's oppressed and they feel her pain. If anyone tells her she's responsible for them being unemployed, if anyone tells her she's a cockroach immigrant, if anyone tells her to go back to her jihadist boyfriend, if anyone asks her if she knows any suicide bombers, if anyone tells her she doesn't belong here and when are you leaving? If anyone asks if she's going to have an arranged marriage, if anyone asks her why she dresses like a nun, if anyone speaks slowly to her like she can't speak English, if anyone tells her that her English is really good, if anyone asks her if she's had FGM, you poor thing, if anyone says they're going to kill her and her family. Shelley had long felt angry on behalf of her brothers, who'd also been harassed by the police since they were young. All black men had to learn to handle it. All black men had to be tough. And when the police killed or beat someone, they were allowed to investigate themselves and exonerate the accused. And as the 80s became a history, the 90s couldn't wait to change in and bring more problems than solutions. More children at school coming from families struggling to cope. More unemployment, poverty, addiction, domestic violence at home. More kids with parents who were inside or should have been. More kids who needed free school meals. More kids who were on the social service register or radar. More kids who went feral. Other were total headfucks like queergender, a gender whose intensity fluctuates, polygender, identifying as multiple genders, or static gender like fuzzy television static, and how can your gender change multiple times a day as the cisgender claim? BB, by the time I finished traveling to the batshit crazy end of the transgenderverse, I was stressed with a capital S. I call in the transluniverse, lock him and throw away the keys, lol. Another thing that bugs me are the trans troublemakers. You should have seen the stick I got when I announced my festival was for women born women as opposed to women born men. I was accused of being transphobic, which I'm not. I'm absolutely not. I have trans friends, but there is a difference. A man raised as a man might not feel like one, but he's been treated as one by the world. So how can he be exactly the same as us? Anyway, there's humor in her writing. I'm glad that I didn't give up reading it. So, therefore, I really like this book. I really enjoyed it. I hope you guys, get your hands on it. I watched this YouTube video. It was a girl or woman talking about, and she said like she's not into short stories, so she's not getting hooked or something. Like girly, I had a really hard time getting into this book, but let me say, this is not just collection of short stories. Every woman at the end cross over so it's a just big one story in the end. So therefore, even you have doubts in the beginning, if you go halfway through, you will see how great this book is. So anyway, this is the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and let's see in my next video. I don't know when that's gonna happen. Okay, bye guys.